Hello Nigerians, welcome to another riveting episode of Let's Talk Politics on Naija Anchor News. Today, we dissect the video recently made by Peter Obi, a direct message to President Bola Tinubu, where he highlighted several alarming issues plaguing Nigeria. We are here to fact-check these claims and analyze their implication for our nation. So let's start. Peter Obi stated that Nigeria remains one of the poverty centers of the world, particularly in the past 18 months.
Nigeria remains one of the poverty capitals of the world, with over 100 million in extreme poverty and more than 150 million in multi-dimensional poverty. The situation has deteriorated significantly in the past 18 months under the current administration. As a nation, we are falling from being the highest GDP in Africa in 2014 at $574 billion and per capita of about $3,500 to now ranking the fourth with a GDP less than 50% of what we were a decade ago, about 200 billion, with per capita less than a third, about 1,000.
Is this true? According to Statista, nearly 12% of the global population living in extreme poverty reside in Nigeria. The evidence corroborates Obi's assertion. According to the World Poverty Clock and recent report from Global Development Agency, Nigeria continues to top the list of countries with the highest number of people living in extreme poverty. Despite government's claim of economic improvement, data indicates a worsening situation on a daily basis, with over 71 million Nigerians living below the poverty line. Obi also claims Nigeria is one of the least secured and least peaceful nations globally.
Our nation remains one of the most insecure and least peaceful in the world today, with countless communities and families displaced from their homes and now living in IDP camps. According to the Global Peace Index report, Nigeria ranks 143 out of 163 countries in terms of peacefulness, an indicative of high level of distress.
This ranking is accurate. According to Socio-Economic.com, the 2023 Global Peace Index ranks Nigeria 144th out of 163 countries, indicating a low level of peacefulness. Nigeria's persistent insecurity, marked by insurgency, banditry, and communal clashes, have significantly affected its peacefulness. Recent security breaches, including the resurgence of Boko Haram activities and escalating clashes in regions like the Middle Belt, validate this grim reality. Obi described Nigeria as one of the hungriest countries in the world, with most Nigerians spending nearly all their earnings on food. He noted that the newly approved minimum wage cannot afford a bag of rice.
Food insecurity has become a national norm, making Nigeria one of the hungriest countries of the world. Gainfully employed and middle-income Nigerians now spend nearly their entire income on feeding, with some resorting to borrowing to eat just to eat. For those living on margins, low-income earners and unemployed, the situation is even more dire. The newly approved minimum wage of 70,000 cannot afford a bag of rice or even half bag of beans. As a result, many Nigerians go to bed hungry, while a significant number now rely on palliatives and charitable support. Tragically, this has recently led to several avoidable deaths. Nigeria in 2024 Hunger Index is ranked 110 out of 127 countries measured, reflecting a critical level of hunger and food insecurity.
This claim aligns with the Global Hunger Index, where Nigeria ranks 110 out of 127 countries. Raising inflation has made these basic commodities, including food, unaffordable for many. A 50 kg bag of rice now costs more than the minimum wage, forcing many families to rely on palliative and charitable donations. Nigeria's reputation as generator nation is no exaggeration. Obi highlights the country's large population without access to electricity and the increased frequency of national grid collapses.
We have earned the dubious distinction of being one of the countries with the largest number of people without access to electricity. In 2024, despite the abysmal and unacceptable power generation and distribution, the frequency of national grid collapse increased significantly. The frequency of national grid collapse increased, where we have almost 12 times in 12 months. As a result, we are now mockingly referred as a generator country. This persistent lack of adequate energy supply continues to hinder our national development.
The fact check shows that Nigeria has the largest energy access deficit globally, with over 85 million citizens living without electricity. Frequent grid failures and the heavy reliance on generators further solidify this claim, painting a bleak picture of the nation's energy sector. Obi's critiques of corruption and nepotism resonate with the current state of governance.
Corruption, official efficiency, fiscal profligacy, and the mismanagement of public resources continue to rise astronomically in our country, spreading across all spheres of government. Similarly, nepotism and disregard for the Constitution, rule of law, and due process have become the norm. Transparency
International's Corruption Perception Index consistently ranks Nigeria among the most corrupt nations. Transparency International's 2023 Corruption Perception Index scored Nigeria at 25, ranking it 145th out of 180 countries, reflecting a high perception of corruption. Public resources mismanagement and disregard for the rule of law remain glaring issues, further eroding public trust in the government. Obi points out that Nigeria's national debt has skyrocketed from approximately 15 trillion naira in 2015 to over 100 trillion naira in 2024.
Our national debt has risen astronomically from approximately 15 trillion in 2015 to over 100 trillion today. This sharp increase has occurred within the last 18 months under the current administration. Ironically, these borrowings are largely allocated to non-generative programs and projects, leaving little to tangible development assets.
With much of this increase occurring in the last 18 months, he also highlights rampant inflation and business closures contributing to high unemployment rates.
Inflation remains an all-time high. Businesses are collapsing, and manufacturing companies are barely surviving, further contributing to already high unemployment rates.
Indeed, Nigeria's debt profile have ballooned, with analysts warning of an impending debt crisis. According to Nigeria's statistical system, Nigeria's total public debt was reported at 97.34 trillion naira, that is about 108.23 billion US dollars in the last quarter of 2003, showing a significant increase over recent years. Inflation rates have reached unprecedented levels, and small and medium enterprises are shutting down, exacerbating unemployment and poverty. Nigerian Statistical System 2004 report shows that the inflation rate in Nigeria rose to 3.88% in October 2024, indicating a high cost of living. Finally, Obi alleges that Nigeria's electoral process falls below standard, with people's votes not counting.
We hold periodic elections that are no longer genuine. Our electoral process are visibly flawed, lacking transparency and credibility. Although Nigeria is a democratic country, the electoral process falls far below acceptable standards, with the people's vote often not counted.
This claim reflects widespread sentiment following the 2023 election. A BBC report showed glaring cases of voter suppression, ballot box snatching, and electronic transmission failures that have cast doubt on the integrity of the Nigerian electoral process. Peter Obi's claim, while dire, are grounded in fact that underscore the challenges Nigeria faces today. These issues require urgent and sustained effort to address. The question remains, how long will Nigeria endure this hardship, and what steps can be taken to create meaningful change? Stay tuned to Let's Talk Politics on Naija Anchor News for more in-depth discussion and analysis of the pressing political issues affecting our nations. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Let's keep the conversation alive. Keep talking politics.